Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is Cassie with Creative Paper Studio. Today we're going to be doing what I'm hoping is the last video in the Jump Ring Start to Finish journal in the bee theme. So in our last video I showed you that I had this all decorated and I explained to you how we were going to put this on. I went ahead and put it on, so all I did was I glued it on there. I did a little bit of stitching down it to reinforce it to make sure it stays on there, and I put my eyelets in and I attached it with my jump rings. I told you guys to go ahead and attach your things. So on the first one I put the 5-page flip out. On the second set of rings I put my little specimen labels and my envelope, and then in the last video I showed you how to do this back pocket that unties and opens up and has the 2 pockets inside of it. Okay, so I'm hoping today's video goes a little bit more smoothly than yesterday's, because yesterday's was just a mess and was frustrating with my camera cutting off and stuff. So I have to remember to check every so often on that. So today we're going to focus on the front cover. As you can see, I've already gone ahead and added in my closure string just like we did on the back here, because I didn't want to forget to do that. So what we're going to be creating today will be this page here. Hopefully you guys can see this clear acetate page, and then this part. Okay, so we're going to start with our flips and this, and in order to do that we need some paper, as I have paper falling on the ground. Okay, set this stuff aside because I don't need it at the moment. What I need at this moment is our paper pad. Possibly maybe some scraps of stuff here. So I'm doing this video in between household chores because we have company coming tomorrow, and my husband went to go get our son from school, so yeah. Okay, so here are my scraps of paper. I don't think I'm going to have any that are big enough to do any of this with, and I don't. Okay, so we're going to pick out new pages, and I want, okay, so we're gonna need like 3 or 4 pages that go together, and obviously most of them will go together because we're using, I like this page, so we'll use this to make our see-through pocket. Okay, let's pick something to go with it. I like this page. We could use this for our flaps. Okay, and then we need something for our background. You know, this is our background on the back side, so I'll use it as the background on the front side as well. Okay, so I'm going to take these 2 pieces of paper and set them aside. We're going to work with these 2 pieces of paper first, and we need these to be about 5 1/4 plus a little bit of extra, so I'm gonna go 5 1/4, 5 1/2, 5 3/4 is what I'm going to cut this at. So, first things first, cut it down to 8 1/2 because that's the height of our book. And then 5 3/4. Okay, and we'll do the same with this one. Cut it down to 8 1/2. And then 5 3/4. Okay. Gonna set this aside for right now because we need to focus on these. And we're going to need the scoreboard now. I'm just going to use my little one. And I'm going to score at 1/2. And then at 1/2. Okay. Fold these both directions. Okay. Now we're going to take our scissors and miter our corners. Okay. Now we're going to need our cutting board, our ruler with the metal edge, and our X-Acto knife, and a pencil. Okay, so I want to leave a bigger area at the bottom of my page. Yeah, and this is the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and line up my ruler with the very bottom and draw my line across there. That way I have that at the bottom. And then going up the side, we're gonna make it a little bit thinner. So we'll do right there, which is the 1/2 inch. Oops. Okay. This is how today's video is gonna go. It's not gonna be good. Okay. Again, 1/2 inch. And then 1/2 inch on the score mark. Let's see, we should be right there. Okay. So do the same thing on your other side. So we'll, at the bottom, do the width of the ruler. And then we'll do 1/2 inch all the way around. Okay, and now we're going to cut this section out. Okay. Again, use your metal edged ruler. A sharp X-Acto blade is preferred. Use a nice firm pressure. Go nice and steady, staying against your ruler. And do this on all 4 sides. Okay, and one more. Okay. So, this is what you should have. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for this piece. We're going to go back and cut the center out. So let me do that real quick. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Like I said, we're doing a lot of housework today, a lot of adulting that isn't fun. You know, had to clean the guinea pig cage and had to straighten up my craft room and vacuum the floor. And hubby did the kitchen this morning. He's going to cook us dinner tonight, and then I have to clean up the kitchen after dinner. My son works tonight, so it's just going to be my husband and I for dinner. I think he's making us a couple T-bone steaks for dinner, which will be really nice with some mashed potatoes. Okay, so I'm going to set my X-Acto knife and my ruler and my cutting board aside. And if you want to ink this up, you can ink this up now. Now would be the best time to ink it up. Where did that piece go? Okay. I have this piece left over from the other day that I'm going to make a window with. So let's get our big scissors out. I'm just going to follow this line straight down right here. And then that's not tall enough, so we got to go this direction. So I'm going to cut it about here. I have the fan on today and the windows open. It's beautiful here. It says it's 75 outside. There's a little bit of a breeze coming in the window. Okay. So I'm going to take my glue and glue this on here. Oh, I hope I didn't score and miter my corners on the wrong side on that. I'm thinking I did. I did. Okay. Well, I might just have to well, poop. Okay, is this piece big enough? It is big enough. Okay, so I have to make another one of these, but okay. Let me cut this to size. It's already to the height, so I'll just cut it to 5 1/4. So see, what I did was I scored it on the wrong side because it should have been opposite of this one. So instead of scoring on this side, I should have turned it upside down and scored on that side. So I'll show you guys that. So on this one, you put it in there right side up and score on that side at 1/2 inch. This one, you're going to want to flip upside down and then score at your 1/2 inch there. And then miter your corners. And then cut this out. So I do apologize that you're gonna watch me do this again, but you know, we got to do it the right way. Okay, so I'm going to bring back in my cutting mat and my ruler, and this is going to be the bottom. So we'll do the width of the ruler, and then do our 1/2 inch. Actually, I've been doing 3/4 inch. 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. It doesn't really matter as long as you keep your measurement. Oh, poop. As long as you keep your measurements the same and keep them consistent. I would have preferred to have a 1/2 inch versus 3/4 inch, but it is what it is, and it'll work. So, okay. Again, nice and firm, nice and steady, keeping it up against that metal edge of your ruler. Jasper says hello. Jasper is my son's cat, and he's probably looking for my son, so. Jasper, is you looking for Gregory? Okay. So, now we're back on track. So, I'm going to take this, and we're going to enforce this crease that we made. Do it one way and then the other way. Okay. And then I'm just going to take this and glue it like so. Okay. So we're going to put glue all over this, including the flap. And I do recommend doing this with a heavier weight paper. I wouldn't use regular copy paper for this because this is going to be a main piece. It's getting opened and closed all the time, so wear and tear could happen on the spine of it, and you don't want that. So make sure you're doing it with a sturdier piece of paper, a lightweight cardstock. I'm going to focus on trying to get the insides as lined up as possible. I have a little overlap right there, but that's okay, because we can always trim around the outside. So I've got a little extra showing up here from behind. I'm just going to go back and trim that. Okay, there's a little bit here. Okay, flip it over. Make sure this corner's okay. All right. Okay. I'm trying to clean as I go today because I don't want to have to re-clean again. Okay, so now I'm going to enforce this to go this way. Use your scissor handles or your ruler or whatever. Okay, so now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm just going to do a zigzag stitch around there, and I will be right back. Okay, so we are back, and I forgot to mention, if you want leaves or anything in here, what you're going to want to do is put a piece of the acetate on both pieces before you put them together at this stage, and kind of sandwich them in between there. I don't really want that for this book because I'm not going for like a nature-y type look or anything like that, but I will do a little bit of decorating on this as we go. So we have this piece that's going to hinge right here, okay? So we're going to take a nice strong glue. Well, before I do that, let's punch the hole, because we need to put an eyelet in here, and I'd rather do it before I glue it down than... So I'm using the same color, same kind of eyelet that I've used throughout. And I'm just going to eyeball what is center. I gotta get this out of here. Got a little remnants left over from the last hole we punched. Okay, so I'm just going to eyeball what I feel is about halfway. Put my eyelet in and swoosh. Okay. Don't put your crocodile away too far, because we're going to be needing that again for the top and bottom flap. So, or are we? I'm going to have to look again. I don't think that one, no, that one's held together with a policy closure. So at this point we are done with the crocodile. I tell you, I'm all over the place today. I don't know if I'm coming or I'm going, and if my head wasn't attached, it'd roll away and I'd lose it. Okay. So we got some glue on there. Make sure your closure's pulled out. Make sure it's lined up properly. Give it a nice press. So see, we're working kind of backwards with these, because you want to, when we're done with this, you want to be able to hide all these flaps and stuff underneath your page. So instead of building the flaps on top of our background page, we're building the flaps and stuff and then putting our background page on. Okay, so I'll leave that like so. Okay, and we decided that we were going to use this as our flaps. So I need it to be 5 1/4 wide. 5 1/4 wide. And then I'm going to do 4 inches tall on each side, which would be 8, which would leave a half of a thing. Okay, so I'm going to cut these at 4 1/2. Okay, so 4 1/2 and 4 1/2. Okay, so with these it doesn't really matter which one's top, which one's bottom, and all that. But we are going to bring in our thing again and go to 1/2 inch and score 1/2 inch and score. Then I'm going to round my corners. And you can make these any size you want to. They don't have to be as big as what I have here. On my other one, I did them a bit smaller so that you could see more of the ephemera in there. But with that, I found that my ephemera slides around a little bit on me. So I'm hoping by doing it this way and making the flaps a little bit bigger, I'm hoping that it'll hold my ephemera in there a little bit better. Okay, I'm folding my crease. Folding my crease. And now I need to gather a few supplies to do the policy closure, so I will pause and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. And what I've gathered here is I have my 1 inch hole punch, I have some baker's twine. Here I have some pre-punched 3/4 of an inch circles. So we're going to use 2 of those. And then I'm going to pick a piece of scrap paper. And I'm going to cut, oops, I didn't quite, okay. I'm going to cut 1 inch circles, okay, for this part. And let's get that B on here. Okay. So you need 2 1 inch circles, 2 3/4 inch circles, and I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile for this. You could use a brad and a pokey tool, but I'm going to try it this way. So I'm going to get a couple of eyelets, and I'm going to take all my pieces, put them together like so. Make sure I'm somewhat in the middle. Okay. There and there. And I'm just going to hold this and then punch a hole where I think it's center It may not be center, and that's okay. Like, I can already tell that that's off. Okay. And punch. And now I'm going to put my eyelet through here and smush it. Okay. Now we're going to do our other one the same way. Find the center. I'm going to take my thread, my baker's twine, this time. We're going to center it up best we can. If you want to measure this and find the exact center and all that, more power to ya. If mine's off a little bit, I'm not going to mind. Okay. Now I'm going to take my baker's twine and I'm going to put it in here like so, and then kind of pull this down so that when I put this in here and smash it, it's going to catch my baker's twine. Okay. So now my baker's twine is caught in there. So now I'm just going to snip that. Put this away so we have a little bit of room to work. Move our tools aside. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our flaps on. I'm going to again use my stronger glue. You can ink the backs of these before you glue them on. It doesn't matter to me, so I'll do it afterwards. Okay, so I want to make sure that I have it lined up at the top. Like so, and I want to make sure that this is still able to close. Okay. So that looks like a pretty good spot to me. Get that glue off of there before it dries. Again, I'm using a lightweight cardstock for this. Okay, now we'll put the bottom one on. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap in between them, which is what we were going for. Okay. So again, same thing. Line this up on there. Make sure your flap works. Make sure that this one still will close, and it will, so we're good. Okay. At this point, if you want anything on your front cover at all, for example, I went ahead and put brads on my front cover, and there's something else I need to explain to you guys too. But I went ahead and I put brads on my front cover just to give it a little bit more of a decorative look. So if you want brads, or if you want to put a book plate in here or anything like that, or a little saying that's, you know, one of those little metal Tim Holtz saying things or something like that, do it now. That way, before we put our back paper in here, we can hide those brad legs and stuff. So in the last video, I did talk to you guys a little bit about, I didn't understand why my spine turned out so big and it was flimsy. So what I did to fix the flimsy problem was I took a piece of the book board, the same materials that we used to create our front and back cover, and I covered that in fabric, and then I stitched around it, and I left about 1/4 of an inch in between my front cover and the spine and the back cover and the spine. And I also punched a hole in the top and put a little bit of jute and an eyelet hanging out, so that if I want to make a tassel for this journal, I can do that as well. And so what that has done is it has allowed my spine to be a more sturdy spine. And anyway, I just felt that this needed that added on there, because of it being so big, it was kind of flimsy and stuff. So I added that, and I'm much happier with it. You don't have to add that piece in, and you can switch your measurements up for this however you want to. These are just the measurements I used, so you can adapt your measurements however you want. Okay, so back to the inside because I am running out of time. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, and we've decided we're going to use this piece. So my measurement, the way I've constructed my book, I know my measurement needs to be 8.5 tall by 5.25 wide. So I'll go ahead and do 8.5, and then we'll do the 5.25. And actually I'm going to go just a tad bit more than 5.25. And hopefully that will, and that didn't. Okay, I need to go a little bit wider yet. I'm going to go like 5.5 because I want to cover those brad legs that I've added on there. So I'm going to go 5.5. Ooh. Okay. And hopefully this will work. Okay. So this will fold up just fine, and that's too tight, so I need to take a little bit off the top. Okay, see, I just took a tiny bit off. So we'll put this like that, and then that closes, and that closes now. And it does stick over a little bit, but I am okay with that. I don't think it looks bad at all. I'm going to use my heavy duty glue, and I'm going to ensure that I glue the edges and the corners really well, because there's not going to be room to go back and stitch this to ensure that it's on there. So I'm going to be generous with my glue, and I'm going to get as close to the edges and corners as I can. Okay. Now we're going to put this on here. folding up and folding down. Got a little bit of glue in there. Okay, it's in the right spot. I'm just going to go through and smooth it down. Oh no, I skipped a spot or a step. I told you, I'm not with it today. Okay. Getting my little pin here, and I'm going to pry this up before it dries. I need to stick some jute in there. Goodness. I'm glad I caught that. So I'm just going to pull this up. I'm going to stick a glob of glue in here. I'm going to get messy apparently. And then I'm going to make sure that's about where my tie is, and it is. Okay. So we're just going to take that like so. Okay, so don't forget to put that in. Okay. Make sure everything closes nicely. Okay, so this closes like that, and then this comes down. And then you can take your twine and you can go behind the back one if you want, or you can go in between the two and have it wrap around like so. But I'm just going to go around the back and just do that, okay? And then we need another piece of twine. And I know I'm cutting my pieces of twine way too long, but, you know, that's just me. I want to make sure I have enough to, you know, get a good bow going and all that. So I'm going to go in from the front out to the back, and then I'm going to pull my tails through. Okay. And then going to tie this in a bow and cut my extra off. Now I'm not going to tie it real tight right now because my glue is still wet and I don't want it to pull that out. So I'm just going to do a loose bow and then cut off a little bit of the extra. Okay. So that is how the front pocket is constructed. I'm going to untie this now. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to use one of my mini little bee charms that I have. I've been using these little metal ones. And I'm just going to tie this onto my baker's twine. Okay. Ooh. I didn't have it all in there, and it was pulling one of my strands down as it went. Okay, there we go. And how I'm going to do this is I'm just going to make a loop, and then I'm going to tie it in a knot like so. Okay, and this way there's still plenty of room for it to dangle. I'll cut a little bit of this extra off, and there we have it. So our book is getting there. The only thing I have left to do with mine is a little bit of decorating and adding ephemera. So let's see here. Let me get some of my stuff out of my way. I do have a couple pieces of ephemera ready to go. So if we undo this, then I have this little guest check. I have this journaling card. Oh, that's a paper clip. That don't belong in there. I have this journaling card that can go in here. And then I have this little library pocket that can also set in here. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, stagger these in here in such a way. Close it up. Close this up. Tie my little bow. Okay, there's that. So then we have our insert done and in, we have our specimen slides done and in, and our envelope, and we've done the back. So the only thing left is to build our signatures and put our signatures in. So the way we're going to do this is I'm just going to build a regular signature. I'm going to build 2 signatures. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did with our other journals. So let me explain that. And I'm sure you guys could figure it out and we can call this tutorial done. Because I don't want you guys like waiting for, you know, a week while I have company for the next tutorial. So I'll explain it and show you guys with this one, and then you can apply it to your own. So we have our strings coming out from the inside of our journal through the eyelets, okay? That we've already done and taken care of. So I'm going to build 2 signatures, and then I'm going to stitch my signatures into a faux cover. So I'm going to take a piece of my cardstock and I'm going to make a cover out of just the cardstock for my 2 signatures. And then I'm just going to do like I would do with any book and sew my signatures into the cover. So as you can see, this is signature 1 and this is signature 2. I'm going to take my Crop-A-Dile and I'm going to punch 2 holes in it, and then I'm going to put eyelets in there. And this one is right at 8.5 tall, but this journal itself is like 8 3/4. So I made this one a little bit bigger, the outside cover. So for our journals for that one, we could stay at 8.5 tall and they would fit in there perfect, which is just fine. Or you could go down to like 8 1/4, and then you'd have a little bit of room on the top and the bottom. You can do it either way, but then I sturdy it up by putting the eyelets in there, and then you just string your strings through those eyelets and tie it, and you have your signature in there. So that's all there is to it. If there are any questions on building the signature and the cover for the signature, go ahead and ask them down below. And after my company leaves, I think they're going to be here for about a week or so, maybe a little bit longer than a week. Then I will do a tutorial on how to do this. But I think it's kind of self-explanatory. You just make your 2 signatures, you sew them into a cover, and then put your eyelets in between the two signatures, and then tie that into your book. And you have yourself a wonderful, unique, big, chunky journal that is absolutely amazing. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I enjoyed showing you how to make it, even though my camera gave me some fits. And my measurements came out a little bit different on it. I don't know quite how that happened, but it did. But you know what? I'm happy with it. I love the bee journal just as much as I love my nature one. I think they both came out, you know, the way they were supposed to come out. And I just really, really enjoy making these journals. There's a lot into them to make them, but it is so worth it in the end. The journals feel so nice in your hands, and I love how you can take the journal insert out and write in it and put it back in with everything else. I just think these are amazing journals. So again, I think the lady that did this was Tanya Smith. I will try and find her video and link it down below in all of the videos. I haven't done that yet. I'm also going to be doing a flip through of both of these when I get the signature done for the bee journal and JJ with Joy. I will also probably do flip throughs of them on my YouTube channel. But I am sorry, guys, neither one of these journals are for sale. These journals are very special to me, and I've put a lot of work into them, and nobody would pay the amount of money these journals are worth. So, with that being said, though, if you are willing to pay the price for one of these and you would like one done in a specific theme, I would be more than happy to make one for you. Just feel free to reach out to me. You can find me here on YouTube or on JJ with Joy, or you can personally message me through my personal page on Facebook as well. So, with all that being said, guys, be sure to share my videos, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, that way you're notified every time a new video goes up. I've really enjoyed working on these journals with you guys, and I hope you appreciate all the work and effort that has gone into this series as well. So until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, do what you love, and keep it crafty. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.